listen to this. Listen to Maryland's Governor Larry Hogan today explaining what happened during the height of the rioting at the U.S. Capitol yesterday. Larry Hogan is a Republican. He's actually one of 3 Republican governors now, along with Phil Scott from Vermont and Charlie Baker of Massachusetts, who have called on President Trump to resign immediately or be removed from office now before the end of his term. But this didn't get a lot of widespread attention today. But listen to what we heard today from Maryland's Governor Larry Hogan. Listen to what he described happening in the middle of his day yesterday. He was at work in Maryland, which, of course, is just outside of Washington, D.C.
Right in the middle of that meeting with our security team, I got a phone call from House Majority Leader Steny Hoyer, who was calling me saying that he and Speaker Pelosi and Senator Schumer were all together in an undisclosed bunker they've been spirited off to, some undisclosed location, that the U.S. Capitol Police was overwhelmed, that there was no federal law enforcement presence, and that the leaders of Congress were pleading with me as the governor of Maryland for assistance from Maryland's National Guard and state police. I informed Speaker Hoyer and the other leaders that a force of specially trained riot police equipped to respond to civil disturbances, along with members of allied and local law enforcement agencies, were already en route to the Capitol. I also told them that I authorized the mobilization of the Maryland National Guard and that I was ready, willing, and able to immediately deploy them to the Capitol. However, we were repeatedly denied approval to do so. Under federal law, the mayor of the District of Columbia does not have authority over the Guard, and we must receive approval from the Secretary of Defense before we're able to send our Maryland National Guard across the border into the federal city, into the District of Columbia. So we had a little back and forth trying to get that authorization, and approximately an hour and a half later, I got a call on my cell phone from the Secretary of the Army, Ryan McCarthy, who gave us the authority that we needed to be able to move into the city. The initial contingent of Maryland National Guard members were the first to arrive in Washington from out of state.
Okay, so that's a remarkable window into what happened yesterday, for which we have to think about what recrimination, what repercussions there will be, what consequences there will be. I mean, here's a congressman, the number 2 Democrat in the House under Nancy Pelosi. It's Steny Hoyer. He happens to be a congressman from Maryland, which happens to be the state right next door to Washington, D.C. Steny Hoyer is in hiding with the other leadership in the House and Senate while an armed mob has taken over the Capitol. The Capitol Police are overrun. There's no federal law enforcement presence that they can see at all. And Steny Hoyer, because he happens to be from Maryland, he happens to have the phone number on him of the governor of Maryland. So that he's hunkered down in hiding under fire, and that's who he calls for help. Governor, can you please send some troops or something from Maryland? And Maryland says, sure. Maryland governor says, yeah, we have civil disturbance trained police. We've got hundreds of guard troops that are ready to go. Yes, just say the word. But he can't just say so on his own, right? You can't just send them into D.C. on your own say-so. You need federal authorization. You need the Trump administration to authorize it. And the Trump administration is AWOL. They won't authorize it. Nobody can get a call returned.
Governor, what did the Secretary of Defense say? In denying authorization for the Maryland National Guard, what was the reason given?
Well, none of us really spoke to the Secretary of Defense, but we were repeatedly being told by the National Guard at the national level that we did not have authorization. I was actually on the phone with Leader Hoyer, who was pleading with us to send the Guard. He was yelling across the room to Schumer, and they were back and forth saying, we do have the authorization. And I'm saying, I'm telling you, we do not have the authorization. And so we had multiple times. The general was, we running up the flagpole, we're ready, don't have authorization, don't have authorization. And then I get a call an hour and a half later out of the blue, not from the Secretary of Defense, not through what would be normal channels. I got a number I don't recognize on my phone. I pick it up anyway. Larry Hogan. And it's like, just Ryan McCarthy, Secretary of the Army, Governor, can you come as soon as possible? It was like, yeah, we've been waiting. We're ready. I can't tell you what was going on the other end on the decision-making process. There's been lots of speculation in the media about that, but I'm not privy to what was going on inside the White House or inside the Pentagon.